Welcome back to First Moveable Guitar Chords. This book focuses on 8 movable chord shapes. We're on page 25. So far you've learned how to play movable major, minor, and dominant 7 chords. On this page we're going to talk about movable power chords. You can watch all these videos for free, but it's going to be a lot easier to learn if you have your own copy of First Moveable Guitar Chords that you can read from and write in. Plus you can help support a music teacher, so I'll leave a link in the description. At the top of page 25, we have 2 power chord shapes. They're actually the same shape. The only difference is you put one with the root on the 6th string and one with the root on the 5th string. Let's check out the 6th string one first. We only have 2 notes to play here. Your root with your 1st finger, and then your other note with your 3rd finger. And that other note is always going to be 2 frets to the right, 1 string down. You want to make sure you're muting the string below that 3rd finger. So we have this note on the 5th string. We're going to mute the 4th string with our 3rd finger, and I'm also flattening up my 1st finger for a little extra insurance. So that way you don't have to be too cautious about your strumming, and you get a nice clean sound. Now you can do this with 3 notes. If you do that, all you have to do is place your pinky on the same fret as your 3rd finger, just the next string down. So you have 3 notes, and that's a perfectly valid way to do this. In my book, I like to just concentrate on the 2-note version. Now we have our 5th string shape. Like I mentioned, it's the same shape. You're just placing your root on the 5th string, and again, your 3rd finger is going to go 2 frets to the right, 1 string down. And make sure you're not strumming the 6th string. Sometimes I will use the heel of my hand a bit to touch the 6th string, so I mute it. And just like with the 6th string version, we want to make sure we're muting, in this case, the 3rd string with my 3rd finger, and maybe even flattening out your 1st finger so it touches that string as well. So that way you can get a nice clean sound. And just as with the 6th string shape, if you want to play a 3-string version, go ahead and put your pinky on the same fret as your 3rd finger, the next string down. But as I mentioned, I like to just show the 2-string or 2-note version in my books. Right below those power chord shapes on page 25, we have this chord finder exercise. We did this with our major, minor, and dominant 7 chords. Now we're going to do it with our power chords. Notice those 5s by those chords. We have G5, F5, C5. That is one way of notating power chords. Another way of notating a power chord is simply to write the word power chords above the music. So look for either those 5s or just the power chord indication above the music. We have G5 on string 5. So we need to find our G root note on the 5th string. That's going to be up at the 10th fret. And we play our power chord shape with the root on the 5th string. Then we have an F5 on string 6. We need to find our F note on string 6. That's going to be way down at the 1st fret. And we play the power chord shape, but this time with the root on the 6th string. Now we have an F5 on string 5. So we find our F on string 5. That's going to be at the 8th fret. And from there we play our power chord shape with the root on string 5. C5 or C power chord on the 6th string. So we find our C note on the 6th string. That's going to be at the 8th fret. And from there we play our power chord. Another C5, this time on string 5. So we find our C on the 5th string. That's at the 3rd fret. And we play our power chord shape. Second line, B flat 5 or B flat power chord on the 6th string. So we find our B flat note on the 6th string for our root. That's going to be at the 6th fret. And from there we play the power chord. Next, E flat 5 or E flat power chord on the 5th string. That's going to be located at the 6th fret on the 5th string. That's where your E flat is, and that's where you play your power chord. A5 on the 5th string. So we need to find our A note on the 5th string. That's going to be way up at the 12th fret, and we play our power chord from there. D flat 5 or D flat power chord on string 5. Need to find our D flat note on string 5. That's going to be at the 4th fret, and we play our power chord from there. And finally, A flat 5 or A flat power chord on the 6th string. Need to find our A flat note on the 6th string. That's going to be at the 4th fret, and we play our power chord. We haven't talked about strumming patterns in this book because it's all been about finding shapes. But with these power chords and the styles that you'll often play power chords in, I want to talk about 2 common strumming patterns you can try. This first strumming pattern is all 8th notes. Now when you're playing most of your chords, when you play 8th notes, you play down up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. With power chords, you will often be playing all down strums. So even though you're counting as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, you're simply strumming down, 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 down. This next pattern involves some muted strumming on beats 2 and 4. I'll play it first and then we'll break it down. So what I'm doing here is I'm always playing down, up, down, up, down, up with my right hand. However, on the way down on beats 2 and 4, I'm muting the strings with my left hand. To mute the strings with my left hand, I'm taking pressure off the strings. I'm keeping the chord here. I take the pressure off the strings, still touching the strings, so I get that muted sound. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And again, on beats 2 and 4 is when I'm doing that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Very important to keep your fingers on those strings still, so you get that sound. A good way to practice this is to first do it slowly and then pick up speed. So do it slowly at first, just to get the coordination down. And once you have it, kind of like a train building up speed. Your assignment is to practice the chord finder exercise on page 25, and if you like, practice those with those strumming patterns we looked at. Don't forget to order your own copy of First Moveable Guitar Chords. I'll leave a link in the description. Take your time with this, and then when you're ready, I'll see you on page 26 for some power chord exercises.